Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar.
From the producer of Lethal Weapon, Die Hard 2 and Predator comes an explosive action-adventure movie.
Are you okay?
With more than a few laughs.
I was afraid you weren't going to drop by.
Bruce Willis is cat burglar Hudson Hawk. He wants to retire,
I quit stealing.
but he's needed for one last job, whether he likes it or not.
I'll torture you so slowly you'll think it's a career.
I'm being blackmailed into robbing the Vatican by a psychotic American corporation and the CIA.
Danny Aiello and Annie McDowell, his sidekicks.
Something tastes like cappuccino.
Oh, I guess I put too much ethyl chloride in it.
A Channel 2 smash hit premiere. Hudson Hawk, the Monday night movie at 8:30 on 2.
I've got the power!
Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar.
Hudson Hawk is a 1991 American action comedy film directed by Michael Lehman. Bruce Willis stars in the title role and also co-wrote the story. Danny Aiello, Andy McDowell, James Coburn, David Caruso, Frank Stallone, Sandra Bernhard, and Richard E. Grant are also featured. The live-action film employs cartoon-style slapstick heavily, including sound effects, which enhances the film's signature surreal humor. The plot combines material based on conspiracy theories, secret societies, and historic mysteries, as well as an outlandish clockpunk technology a la Coburn's Our Man Flint films of the 1960s. We now join Robert Kraft and Bruce Willis as they discuss how they came up with the story for the film.
See, they got us already. Got a strange suspicion. Calling her crazy. I can't be sitting up this high, man. When she said stay for dinner, I should have known that I'd be staying for lunch. Damn the call. Time. Suddenly we're drunk in Vegas. And then I'm laying down in a parking lot saying, where did the girl go? She doesn't speak the language. She likes to smile a lot. When I stop to consider all the things that I have and haven't got, I said, fuck the cause. That's how the West got off. This is one of our bigger tunes in Italy. The film was
Big in Italy.
the film was shot. we are big in Italy.
Hey, how did the Hawk swing go?
That's it. Okay, whenever you want to start asking us questions, this is just for us. You send the tape over to Robert's office. Robert used to play piano for money in what was then called Cafe Society. He used to play at clubs on the west side, and There's a club called Green Street that I'm not sure if it's still there or not. Big club. And he had a band called the Ivory Coast, and some friends of mine, some mutual friends, of ours, took me down there one night. It's something that you're not supposed to do for you young kids out there. Don't do this. If your friend is on stage in front of about 5,000 people, even if you have a harmonica, don't take it out and start playing along with the band. But Robert was gracious enough to call me up on stage, and I sat in with him and Ross.
Right. Levinson.
Levinson.
And I think we played it.
And then we became friends that night.
Yep.
And we're still friends today.
Yeah.
So that was like, I think 79, 70,
Yeah.
80, something like that.
About 100 years ago.
And did you guys bond because you liked the same kind of music and
Same kind of girls.
And the same kind of bars.
Same kind of bars. Wilby's.
Oh, Wilby's. 88th and Broadway. They used to make an orange blossom up there where Mr. Wilby himself, one of the three Wilby brothers, I think this was Abe Wilby. Abe would personally squeeze the orange for you right in front of you to make the orange blossom. And then he had a magic thing he did with a boot and some homemade gin. And he put that together.
He still had the little sliding hole from the...
It was the boot that actually gave it the flavor. But Wilby's was good, Dublin House. So we spent time together in New York.
Doing research on bars, really.
Research.
We didn't do a whole lot of drinking in those days.
Bruce was actually working in one of them, and was generous enough occasionally to, and I hope the bar owners 25 years later don't mind learning this, he occasionally would slide me a free brunch at the end of the bar, which I appreciated in those days, brunch being desirable and free brunch being more desirable.
You know, brunch is a bygone thing. They don't have brunch anymore. Not that this has anything to do with the movie.
Rob,
nothing.
What did you think that night when he pulled his harmonica out and just started playing?
I said either this guy's got to go or play. There's no standing in the audience. And I thought if I said that he would go. I thought I would scare him off, but he instead got on stage. And that was the beginning.
Hard to scare me off in those days.
That was it. I mean, I said, hey, you know, I remember shielding my eyes and trying to, it was such an odd sound to have. Yeah. Is that a harmonica in the audience? Yeah, it couldn't be.
And it was in the right key, too.
Somebody actually playing along with the band.
Swinging.
And
the swinging band.
And yeah, I think it was a Saturday night, and I think we finally actually parted ways Wednesday morning. Because we had a lot of research to do. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
It was a song before it was a story.
Right.
That we used to just kind of scat around. We used to just be
Actually,
walking.
And
you had to have a good song to walk down the street in New York.
Exactly right. And one of the things that had occurred to me, and Bruce probably heard it an hour after the original idea. I mean, it was that fresh, I remember when it first occurred. I've been reading about Coleman Hawkins. Coleman Hawkins was known as the Hawk. And in the same period of reading, I also had been reading about Chicago. And the wind that blows off the lake in Chicago is also called the Hawk. And for some reason, all this was stewing in my fevered imagination, and I was walking west on 86th Street from Central Park, and one of those incredible winds came off the Hudson River. One of those winds that was so powerful you could actually have fun leaning forward and seeing if it would hold you up. It was that kind of strong, might have been a zephyr or a mistral, I'm not sure which, but you would feel that incredible wind. And I had this idea that if it's the Hawk in Chicago and Coleman Hawk, somehow I thought maybe this wind is the Hudson Hawk. And I was walking along thinking, boom, ding, 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 ba-dum, dum, ding, ding, dum, ba-dum, dum, dum. I had this sort of bass line. I probably was walking to Bruce's or he was coming to my house or something, because I remember about an hour later I sort of played it for him, and suddenly we started to work towards this kind of just a thing. I don't know if it was going to be a song or a bass line, whatever, but somewhere in that period, Bruce had the idea of there was a character, there was maybe a story, and he said at one point, either that afternoon or many weeks later or something, someday I'm going to make a movie called The Hudson Hawk. And I thought, yeah, sure. I mean, we're both, you know, you're you're working in a bar, I'm trying to get a record deal, and you're already making this movie. P.S.
Here we are.
And that's where it all came from.
And back when you could, in those days, because you didn't have to live up to anything except your word, you could just say anything like that. I mean, you could put, you know, characters' names in there, and the most fun thing was coming up with like the fun character's name. And somewhere in there, I don't know where it came from, but it was actually one of my favorite character names in any movie was Tommy Five Tone, because I just didn't know, I had no idea what it meant. It disturbed me, and
it'll upset you.
It'll upset you.
Bruce was, of course, you know, a number of things were happening. Moonlighting was happening. I'm not sure what the sequence of events. Moonlighting, then there was Die Hard. We made a record together, which was extremely successful. Somewhere in there, was it TriStar offered you a
kind of a first look deal, kind of an overall deal.
Whenever that was, and so there were parallel things were happening. I think I produced A Little Mermaid at that point and was off to scoring Mambo Kings. Right. So it was a very, it was a thrilling time to have all this starting to gel.
But it kind of started as a more of a serious action movie kind of. One of the first things we said was that it was like James Bond before he became James Bond. Like, what was James Bond when he was 20 years old? It was Sean Connery. Like, what was that guy doing? Like, if he was stealing stuff, he was a good thief. We got about that far. But I never liked it when it was serious. I kept saying, I don't know. It was like something about a heart, about stealing. There was somebody's heart.
Second Story Man was going to get into a hospital.
Yeah, steal a heart for someone. Like, you know how they do heart transplants in those days. But that never quite made it. And then Dan,
there was a buffalo chase. Remember that?
Yeah.
Somebody was hiding in a buffalo coming across the plain. He was in the Wild West. No. And didn't get moved to Italy till we decided we needed a good place to hang out. Too. And then one day, where? I said, I don't know, we should go to Venice or Florence or Rome or something. We need to go on a trip. Next thing I know, there's a draft that includes Italy. And I thought, this will work. Yeah. And then boom, one day we were shooting in New York. That was and taking the Concorde.
Yeah.
To
crazy. Well, we shot in New York for about 4 weeks.
Right.
To shoot all the New York part of it, about the first heist, and
lived in an apartment on 50. There were a couple places. 57th Street. There was an incredible tower that overlooked the East River.
Yeah.
You heard, right?
And we all had to get on the plane at like 6 in the morning or something to go over to Rome.
Our luggage didn't.
Luggage didn't make it. So we had to spend the night in Paris, sadly.
If you guys were a little older, we could tell you a little about that story.
Sadly. And then finally got down to Rome, and we were just exhausted. And the family whose house we were staying in, they were all lined up outside. And I didn't know what to make of all of it. And I said, how you doing? And they all wanted to take a photo and everything. And had I known that that's what they wanted, I would have done it. But nobody told me that's what it was. It was like an Italian thing. And so if any of you guys are watching, the folks from the Villa, sorry, I didn't get those pictures taken.
And during the shoot, now that I think of it, I actually flew back to New York and rounded up an all-star studio band, knowing Bruce's key and the tempo we wanted to use. I came back to New York for few days in the middle of a shoot and recorded the backing tracks. You know, on film, you often have a playback of the tracks, and the actors will either sing or lip sync, and I think we probably did both. They pre-recorded it, I believe, in this Forum Studios in Rome. We went downstairs in Forum Studios in Rome, and Bruce and Danny did vocals there that we could use on the set. Maybe they also sung live for a couple takes without the tracks, but I went and recorded with a fantastic band in New York City the tracks for those numbers. And then finally, at the end of the entire show, had a chance to record the theme song with Dr. John, who sang it. And there's some really great unheralded performances in some of these moments on the instrumental theme song of Hudson Hawk. And this is arcane information for music fans, but in the instrumental version, we had a group in Hollywood play it, and including Jeff Porcaro, who is the legendary drummer in Toto, since passed away, but it was one of his last recording sessions. And it was, you know, for me, playing with guys like Jeff, and we also had Rick Moranis. These were guys, you know, it's like Steely Dan playing our music, and a lot of fun with Dr. John, too, recording the theme song. Both of us got a chance to work with certain legendary heroes of ours.
Very cool. In
making the movie.
The seldom seen video that went along with the
completely forgot
track Hudson Hawk was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who I would go on to work with in a movie called Tears of the Sun just a couple years ago.
That's right. He was a music video director at that point.
And he told me on the night of that shoot, he said, "I want to make a movie with you someday." And all things come. You know, looking at how it kind of became this cult film, and what people, you know, come up and say to me on the street about it is they, you know, dig the fact that it was making fun of itself and that it was satire. And I don't think anybody got that when it came out. They didn't know what to make of it. You know, me and Danny Aiello singing in a movie was just unheard of, and they were, you know, people were mad about it or something. Like they were mad that we were trying to make them laugh, and that's all we were trying to do. We were just trying to, we were Three Stooges jokes in there, and I think more than anything else, which is, it's always not too good an idea to try to make yourselves laugh, but we were laughing while we were shooting. The thing that I think should be said about the film is that it was special to us for a lot of different reasons, but it was vilified, I think, more than any film of its time, of its decade. It had some of the worst. They had been trying to say, they've been trying to tear down, you know, come after me, I guess, since the first Die Hard, and you know, the films were successful anyway. But they finally were. They had started to review this film long before anybody saw any of it, you know. So it was just my time to catch a beating in the press. But the film is in profit now, and it's, you know, paid for itself and is making money. I get, you know, which is a Pyrrhic victory, I suppose. I still laugh at it. I think it's funny. There's stuff in the movie that makes me laugh. I mean, it's just so silly. And that was the whole point. We were just trying to make people laugh. And it might have been a little too hip for the room at the time. And we had so many great performances in there that got neglected and got overlooked because they were just picking up, you know, just bombing me and throwing rocks at me, and it you know, at the time I thought I kind of got it, kind of didn't get it, but it allowed me to not take my work so seriously, because up to that time there was no line between my work and my life. And it was right around that time that I had just gotten married, and a couple years earlier, and I started, I had kids now, and I started to see that, well, this is my job and this is my family, and so it helped me in that sense.
I got to tell you, I was always impressed. Bruce has a unique ability to be resilient, and I think I was distressed and hurt, and I remember you felt, I don't think I can say what you actually said, but
I said, fuck it. I said, whatever, right. It doesn't matter.
And I thought, you know what, you're right. I was taking it personally, and there was a little bit of, Bruce just said, you know what, man, if they don't get it, on to the next.
A lot of people did get it. It's just, I don't really make movies for critics, and I think that was probably why I for a long time, I was getting a lot of bad press, and just had, things said about me, because we're both from, New Jersey, and I'm from South Jersey, especially in the 609 area code. Were you 609?
609.
Oh, okay, so you're South Jersey. Yeah. So, in South Jersey, you really, for my friends in South Jersey, you'll get this. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to apologize for making this film. I thought it was funny then. I think it's funny now. I think it holds up. People are still watching it. We're both still around. Nobody chased us out of town. They said, go, you can't, banish from the kingdom or something. We're still doing it. We talk about it a lot, about the New York days, and it really was a carefree time, and you could call it carefree, or you could call it irresponsible, but it is a miraculous thing. I know a lot of cats who were studying acting at the time and were as good, if not, most of them much better actors than I was. And it's just the luck of the draw. And I think a lot of times it's just meant, whatever's meant to be is meant to be. Whatever your, path is what it is. You got to take a shot at it. But I don't know. I don't know why. I've been really fortunate in my life. I think you feel the same. I would like to see Robert go back to playing in clubs. Playing in cafes in New York.
That's still ahead of me.
We keep threatening to move back to New York at some point.
I think there was also, for all of us, you have different periods in your life where you meet friends. Some people say their best friends are from high school or from grammar school or from college. There was something very special for me particularly, and I know for Bruce too, that period in New York, both in terms of the time in New York City, the time in our life, it was intensely fertile and creative, and there's no question it was absolutely unique to meet a like-minded citizen at that very moment in both our lives. But we shared a very, very unique and special time in our lives. That was, for me, as creative a time as you could ever wish for. My 20s in Manhattan, aspiring to be a songwriter. He was an aspiring actor. There was a lot that just bonded us, in addition to all the other aspects. And there's no question, it's rare that we both ended up this many years later, 3,000 miles away, in our chosen profession, able to share our lives this way, share our families this way. That is rare, and certainly as valuable a part of my life, as any aspect of it that I actually, can share this much and have this much unspoken, because there's just that much history from New York. But I think that those moments in Manhattan were unique. We have memories that forever.
Friendship
a book's worth.
Yeah, friendship is it's so important. I really dig cultivating friendship, and I really like the ongoing cultivation of friendship, because it's so important. It becomes the bond, the stuff that's in between, you know, and now look at, I mean, we're old now, you know, we're old, Jack. So
I'm 80.
now you hope you look as good when you're 80, ladies and gentlemen. But we get to sit around and, you know, cut up old touches and I think, man, was that actually 25 years ago? Was that actually that long ago? And some of those cats are still, you know, rolling around New York. And a bunch of our friends came out to California at the same time, and are all still friends. And those times in New York, I think, really bonded people. So if you're living in New York and you like to sublet your apartment, if you're living in New York and you're
on the west side, particularly,
on the west side,
between like 72,
a block off the park, give us a call at
310-555-4649. 49 and 10.
Because we'd like to move back to New York. But you just got to keep going. You got to keep you know, looking at what you're doing and just keep.
We're just getting
chopping
started.
at it. That's it. Nickel in his pocket, time on both his hands, little Tommy 5-2, 49th and 10. See, that's what it was. The song was really about where I was living. That's right. It's 49th and 10. Uptown, a hustle here. A shuffle there, heads uptown. You can't feel it, you can't see it.
It's the Hudson Hawk again. Let it rain, let it snow, let the north wind blow. It's the Hudson Hawk,
your
again.
friend. Little time.
What's the second verse? I don't even remember.
6 a.m. come Sunday. Tommy heads uptown. Little Tommy 5-2. Nowhere to be found. Scotty Scabby Dabby Survivors of every day, baby. Take it, big.
Everybody knows when the cold wind blows, it's the Hudson Hawk again. Let it rain, let it snow, let the north wind blow. It's the Hudson Hawk, my friend. Ooh, little Tommy, you better watch out what you do. Hudson Hawks with you, baby.
Three finger.
Hesitate when bad luck comes around. Down. Hudson Hawk again. Let it rain, let it snow, let the north wind blow. It's the Hudson Hawk, my friend. Ooh, you better watch out what
Thanks, you guys. Rain in the Southland. Millions panic. Still swinging. Still swinging. Love that.
That's it.
Every time I see Robert Kraft, I say, just play a little bit of it.
Little Hudson Hawk. How about it? How about the karma of the fact that one day walking west on 86th Street, the wind blows, and here we are 20 odd years later, 25 years later in Cherokee Studios, talking all about it.
Would you like to swing on a star? Games, home, and a job.
Hudson Hawk premiered in Los Angeles on the 21st of May 1991 and opened theatrically 3 days later. Most of the cast attended the premiere, along with top people of Hollywood at that time.
Animals! Bruce, and when he gave you this way, please. Bruce, and David, this way, please. This way, please. Bruce, how you doing?
Now tell me, what is it about Bruce Willis that makes him so...
Oh, I think it's probably a lot of things, but the thing that I find so interesting is his wit. He has a real sort of boyish sense of humor.
What was your favorite part of the movie, working with Bruce?
In watching it or in experiencing it?
In experiencing it.
Oh, so many things. I loved being in Rome. I really loved Italy. The dolphin scene was great fun for me. It's the first time I ever got to do anything like that before.
Can I ask you a weird question?
I don't know, can you?
What's your favorite part about being a celebrity?
Oh gosh, that's a really hard question.
It is.
It's also new to me. I don't know, I'm kind of learning what is probably my favorite part will probably come to me at some point, but it's...
We really love you. You are so cute.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, how you doing? Tom Marshall, how are you? Whoa! Let's go around, please. Tell me about the film. You happy with the final?
Well, I haven't, it's very funny. It's different, it's innovative, it's like nothing I've ever seen, and maybe just a little bit like everything I've seen. A little bit like Abbott and Lou Costello, a little bit like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It's a mad, mad world, and it's just... The opportunity for an actor to play his own personality and disposition in the movie is beautiful.
And your co-star?
I'm sorry, and that's what Bruce and I are doing.
And your co-star Bruce Willis. What's he like to work with?
Well, he's sensational. We're friends for a long time. We've known each other about 11 years. We've always had the hope of working with each other, and it was our first opportunity.
Quick off-the-wall question, Julia Roberts. Would you like to work with her?
Yeah, I like Julia very much. She's a friend of mine, but I certainly would like to work with her.
Thank you very much.
I don't care what else happens. I just hope that it's a winner. And though I'm here to see the film, I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it? It's always also with the other audience there.
You bet. Well, no, it's the only way to see it. You look at it, you can't be objective also.
When you're playing the CIA, how do you like that?
Oh, it was total real. I play him just like a real guy.
You know any CIA stuff?
Yes.
film got a lot of mixed critiques. Usually they were on the very good side, they either loved it completely or didn't like it at all. There was no gray zone. Where do you think that comes from?
Well, the very hip people love it. The very square people hate it.
Okay. What do you
Okay.
expect how the audience is going to react?
Well, you know, there's hip and squares in the audience too. Okay.
Where did you get that singing?
Paul, we need it.
Yeah. It's a curse. Did you do a lot of Bruce, what are you going to do?
Bruce, and Debbie, this way, please. This way, please. Bruce, Debbie, Bruce, how you doing? Good, how you doing? Pretty good, guys. Just do a real quick turn.
Hey,
what's up? Hey, get a picture taken with us. Come here. Bruce, this way, please. Bruce, Debbie. There we go, Charlie.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Down in front.
Guys, be cool here.
See you guys. Can I get a clean shot? I'm rolling.
Hey, Andrew, what's her name?
Guys, don't lean out.
It's purple shirt. You're in the shot. You're in the shot. You're ruining the shot.
Bruce, this way, please. Bruce, HBO.
Yeah, they're more fun and they have much more energy. You get more money.
No. What's the character you think in the future of your career? What's the character?
Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Every night, games, home, and a job.
So is this for Dallas television? Or?
Dallas Fort Worth. So, Andy, we are talking now for Dallas Fort Worth and what we like to call North Central Texas. Have you been to Texas ever?
Sure, I have been from Texas. I've been from Texas. How many interviews have I done today? I've been to Texas. But you know, people always, maybe that's why I said Freudian slip here, people always think I'm from Texas.
Why?
Because I have a southern accent, and anybody has a southern accent, I guess they think from Texas. I don't know, it's the most, I guess it's the first place people think of. But I must say, and I talked with another girl that's from the same area that I'm from, Stephen, the director of Sex, Lies, and Videotape, married. His wife is like 30 miles from where I'm from.
And where is that now?
I am from Gaffney, South Carolina. And it's a funny little area. It's called the Pearl of the Piedmont. It's a funny little area. And the accent there is very similar to the accent in Texas. It's for some strange reason. You know, there's so many variety of Southern accents. You know, you have to be, I think, from the South to really understand how they change. But they change state by state, and even in a state, they change. So there's such a strong difference.
Oh, we have 4 or 5 different
exactly,
regional
I'm sure.
accents.
I don't really understand all the regional accents from Texas, but I know the ones from South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. I think I can tell the difference in a lot of different variety of accents, you know. But for some reason, the area that I'm from is supposed to be very similar to a Texan accent.
When I listen to you, as I'm listening to you now, I do detect your Southern accent. On screen, I don't.
I hope not. I'm trying my best. I think, you know, I have to scrutinize these things, so I watch them, and it's very odd. It's like I can clean up my accent completely, and there'll be one word that'll give me trouble. And it just, it's so frustrating, you know? I get so angry with this, like, one word. It's a crazy thing.
Let's talk about this film, Hudson Hawk, because you have one of the saner roles, I think, in this movie.
Yes, I do, even though it was a quite crazy nun.
Yes. Here you are, you did The Object of Love and...
Object of Beauty.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
The Object of Beauty. The Object of Beauty, Henry Moore Sculpture. And now Hudson Hawk, and you're all tied into Leonardo da Vinci works of art. You're kind of on an art kick here all of a sudden.
Well, that's good. I like art. I like that connection there. That's good. I haven't really made the connection between the two films and the artistic reference before, but that's all right.
Two famous names.
Yeah.
Different eras, of course.
Definitely.
You took over the role from a young actress who had to leave because of illness. So how much time did you have? How much notice did you have before you had to leave?
Well, I got a very funny call from, had a very funny conversation with Joel Silver, who's the producer, and he called me up and said, how soon can you be here? Can you get here in 24 hours? Like this, and I hadn't met him before, but he has a very funny personality. I don't know if you've ever met him.
He's very hyper.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, yeah, I think maybe I could arrange that. You know, I'm very sensible and trying to figure out if I can be there in 24 hours. I think I was there in 3 days. 3 days after I got this crazed telephone call from Joel Silver, and 2 days later I was working. I did my first scene, the confessional scene, I think 5 days after I read the script. It's pretty
People
crazy.
don't understand what all is involved because you took your family, didn't you?
I took my family.
Your husband?
My
and
husband.
2 children?
My
is
2
it?
children.
And the children are what ages?
2 and 4. But I went first, and they joined me a few days later. They had a few days, maybe 5 days longer than I. 5 days later they came, or something like that.
Had you been considered earlier for anything in
That's
it?
what they said.
Uh-huh.
I was working at the time. I was doing Green Card when they were casting it, and so I was busy. But
And so you flew to where? Your first scenes were where?
in Italy.
In Rome. Yeah. And from there then you went to Budapest?
Yeah, we went to Budapest, and then we went to London for 1 weekend.
And the children and your husband with you the whole time?
The whole time, except for London. That was done at the very end, and it was like I had a week left, and I had to fly to London and then back to Budapest, and I thought that was insane. So they went home, and then I joined them.
Have you done a movie with as many special effects as this film has?
No, I think this is the first movie I did with special effects at all. It was fun. My son really enjoyed coming to the set. They had, these crazy gold machine, and he loves all that kind of stuff, so he had fun visiting.
Does it frighten you when they set off the explosions?
It did. I didn't have to act too much. I hate guns. I really do. So all this noise going off. I kind of enjoyed getting to shoot the gun at Bruce. It was kind of interesting. But God, they really explode loudly.
I know. I've been around.
It's a loud explosion.
Yeah,
it's very realistic.
I find all of that very frightening because it's in an enclosure. And I know they're very safety conscious.
You have to be very cautious. You have to think about what you're doing.
Yes. What about the glider, or how did you refer to that flying thing?
The glider?
The glider, okay.
Yeah. It's like a copy of Leonardo da Vinci did make. He did invent the glider. I think that whole part was so interesting that he really had invented all these things so long ago. But they made a copy of one. It was made out of leather and wood or whatever. It was beautiful. And it was hanging from a crane. And we were in Rimini in the country, exactly where the castle is. And the stunt guy was supposed to do it, but he looked so funny. You should have seen this man dressed up like me with a wig and his hairy arms and in one of my dresses. It was just hysterical. I don't think that he could have really been, it would have really been far off in the distance for him to pass for me. So they asked me if I would do it, and it was like hanging over like a huge gully, I don't know, 300 feet. But it really was beautiful. It was amazing to be hanging. Would you go? We were hanging from this glider 300 feet in the air. We weren't strapped in or anything. And I used to be able to claim that I was afraid of heights. I can no longer make this claim. But
why weren't you strapped in?
There weren't any straps. It felt safe.
And you were just hanging on to Bruce for...
It was hooked up to a crane, and there was these guys that were actually had lead ropes. I was just hoping that they didn't have too much wine at lunch, because in Italy they drink wine for lunch. So I did look at them and say, "Oh gosh, I hope they know what they're doing."
Well, obviously they did, because you are living proof that
It turned out all right. And it was kind of fun, the credit I got from the stunt guys. They thought I was very brave.
Good. So. Well, Andy, it's fun talking with you, and I hope the movie does well, and enjoyed your performance.
Thank you.
And I hope that all goes well for you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Andy.
All right. So do you go back to...
Give her a pillow, Scott.
Well, I'll just stand.
You want another one? You know what? That's what I'm saying. We've been having problems like this all morning.
Oh,
you okay?
right.
You all right like that?
So, Bruce.
Let's do this. We'll start the show off like this. We're both sleeping. We're both snoring. And you go, oh, hi, here we are on the air. Want to try it? Come on. What do you get to lose except your job?
Right.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I always wanted to do that.
Bruce, you're in great shape today.
I'm in good shape today. You know what I want to show
night?
you today? I got a lot of sleep last night, maybe too much sleep. I have some gray hair in my beard over here. Can you zoom in on that? I'm really getting a lot older.
Does that disturb you?
It disturbs me. It happened overnight. I didn't have that yesterday.
Well, a little Clairol or something. Don't they have Clairol for
Grecian
beards?
formula
Oh,
is a
is that
pretty
what
good
it
thing.
is?
A lot of the guys who work for me use Grecian formula. Paul, too. Paul, especially.
Listen, we're using precious time here to talk about your
I'll
damn
make it all
beard.
up, though. I'll make it all up. Whatever time we
I wanna
lose
talk
fooling
about
around.
Your beard.
You don't like my beard?
Oh, yeah, I like it fine. But I don't want to spend the whole interview on your beard.
Whatever time we lose talking about my beard, I'll make up.
Oh, all right.
I'll give to you, I promise.
Okay, so start the clock again at 000. Okay. Hello, Bruce.
All right.
I enjoy you. You're so off the wall.
You do this a lot, though, don't you? Come on, you talk
I
to
do
actors
it.
and you talk about movies, and now
It's
here
what
today
I
we're
do.
talking about Hudson Hawk. We have to have a little fun doing this.
It's my
don't we?
life. What can I tell you? It's my life. Running around the country talking to clowns like you.
Talking to clowns. You know that and the Ringling Brothers thing. Did you happen to see that there was a shot of me in, I think, People magazine riding an elephant? Did you see that?
I don't
in
think
Dallas?
I saw that.
Okay.
Oh, what were you doing on an
I was riding an
elephant?
elephant. I went to the circus with my kid, and they asked me if I wanted to take a little spin on Bink. I think was it Binky the elephant. Binky the elephant. Yeah.
Was that a big thrill?
Big thrill for me. Did you ever ride an elephant?
No.
It's pretty amazing. They're pretty
Horses,
big animals.
I ride horses.
Well, elephants are much bigger than horses.
Yes. I mean, that's too high for me.
Let's talk about Hudson Hawk.
Yes, what I want to talk about.
No elephants in Hudson Hawk.
No, but you got a lot of other stuff going on in Hudson Hawk.
Yes.
A lot of action, explosions.
Yeah.
I want to find out about that bridge scene. When
The
you're
Brooklyn Bridge, yeah. We actually shot on the Brooklyn Bridge. We were standing all night on an empty Brooklyn Bridge, thanks to the wonderful people of New York City who allowed us to close the Brooklyn Bridge for a while. And it's just, have you ever stood on a major, big, do they have big things like that down in Dallas?
We don't have Brooklyn bridges in Dallas.
Do you have any Dallas bridges?
Well,
you probably have like overpasses and stuff. Right?
Yeah, and over the Trinity River, which is about
Over
as wide
Trinities.
as this room.
Yeah. So probably not a big bridge, but yeah, the Brooklyn Bridge was actually pretty big. We shot on that. There's a lot of big stunts in this thing. I mean, it's a combination of a lot of different things. This is really my attempt and Joel Silver's and Michael Lehman's attempt to just do a film that makes people laugh, that cracks people up and entertains people. There's no message here, no moral code or anything like that. Just trying to make you laugh.
It did.
Good.
It made me
Good.
laugh.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's pretty silly. I mean, there's a lot of very stupid, broad, sophomoric humor in there. I'm a big fan of sophomoric humor. There's also, very intellectual, inside, dark humor also. But it's pretty funny, I think.
You had the idea for this character many, many years ago.
Long time ago, yeah, about 12 years ago.
Okay, so now you lived with him all this time and kicked him around in your head and everything. Then when you see him on screen, is it the way you envisioned
Oh
it?
yeah, exactly. Like and much better. I mean, we had such a wonderful cast in this thing: Danny Aiello, Andy McDowell, James Coburn, Sandra Bernhard in probably the best work she's ever done. Richard E. Grant. Everybody showed up with something to add to the story and add to the script that just made it even funnier.
How did the swinging on a star number, how did that get in there?
Well, Dan Waters wrote in the story that these guys rob auction houses and banks and things like that in a certain amount of time, and they do it by singing a song together. So if they have to go apart, they'll know where they are in the song. They know how much time they have before they have to get it done. Kind of clever. Did you like it? It's a little crazy though, right?
Crazy.
But the world needs craziness. The world needs to laugh. There's so many nutty things going on that we just thought that it'd be nice to just give people something to go have fun with. You like to laugh, right? I mean, laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, laughter's a good thing. It's good medicine.
You bet. I like to clown around, too. Have you been to Texas?
I've been to Austin, Texas.
Yeah, that's the capital.
It is? The capital's there?
Yeah.
I never, you know what? I went to Austin. We didn't even go to the State House or anything. We didn't take that tour.
What were you doing there?
We went to some nightclubs down there.
Oh, they got a lot of those.
A lot of nightclubs. Went and played some music and.
Some country western. Willie Nelson. You know Willie?
Willie wasn't there that night. He was probably working. Probably doing something.
But were you working Texas. There or just visiting?
No, we're just down there having some fun. Just down there having some fun down in Austin.
Playing your harmonica.
Yeah. Actually, I remember, I think we were on the lam from the law, from the Texas Rangers, I think. Either that or the Oklahoma cops. I'm not sure. We were hiding out down in Austin for a couple of days. Believe this?
I believe anything you tell me, Bruce.
Want to come live with me?
You have somebody living with you. And I
too.
Love your wife,
Thank you.
I
So
love her. And when
Did you see Mortal Thoughts?
I did,
like
of
Mortal
course.
Thoughts?
I
Yeah.
interviewed her during that time.
Yeah, she's very good in it.
Enjoyed it and enjoyed you in that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, the new baby is coming pretty soon?
Yeah, in the fall.
Have you picked out the name yet?
We're thinking to call it Tonka.
Tonka?
You don't like that name?
Why not?
I'm
it's
serious.
your baby. You can name it anything you like.
Tonka Willis.
Tonka. And what does that stand for? Anything?
Remember those little trucks you had when you were a kid? We're not calling it Tonka. I'm just kidding. We're thinking of calling it Dallas or Austin.
Why not? Is there a story there?
Well, yeah, but it's kind of personal, Bob. No, we're still looking for names.
Okay.
Still looking for names.
All right. Okay. Well, Bruce.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Bobby. Thank you. Hi,
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Hudson
much.
Hawk.
Thank you.
And
Say
I
hi to
hope it
everybody in
does well.
Dallas. I like Texas a lot.
Come back.
Okay, thanks.
Good. Thank you.
If you can't have a little fun, why are we?
Back. Sandra, I can tell we're going to get along great.
Good.
now that we've settled.
Well, I love Texas.
Have you worked there?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, I performed in Dallas. I performed in Austin and Houston. And the crowds are great there.
Doing stand-up?
Yeah, doing my act, my one-woman show.
You remember where you were? Improv?
No, they weren't comedy clubs. They're like theaters.
Oh.
I don't work at comedy clubs.
You never did?
Well, I started out here, but when I went on tour, I always worked at theaters and rock and roll clubs. Because I travel with a band and stuff, so it's a little different.
Did you find the Texas audience is really hip?
Yeah, very, extremely. Very, enthusiastic and very smart.
And at the time, did you have a name that they knew at the time?
Yeah, this is like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh.
Right before I took my show to New York.
Oh, okay.
It was like that show in its working process.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Was that before or after King of Comedy?
Oh, about 3 or 4 years after.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when I knew about your name, but King of Comedy, it's when I first knew you.
Well, I don't think really anybody knew me before King of Comedy. Maybe just a little bit, but that was definitely what put me on the map.
It's a great movie. I still love to look at that movie.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that experience?
Oh, yeah. It was incredible.
Working with De Niro?
Absolutely.
Jerry?
And Scorsese.
Yeah.
Good company.
You've done now quite a bit of movie work.
Yeah.
Sandra, you're going to give up the comedy?
Oh, no, I'm putting a new one-woman show together right now, as a matter of fact, and I'll be touring with that. And there's always time for both when your whole life is your career. When you have time for nothing else.
You say that with kind of a sad note, Sandra.
Well, no, I'm not sad. It's, you got to make hay while the sun shines, and then you switch gears, I guess.
Now listen, I would think that you would have, just a stable of guys dying
no.
to take you out.
Well, I don't. No, it's not true.
Why not?
Maybe you can introduce me to somebody, Bobby.
Well, sure.
Some rich Texas oil man.
Well, they're not as rich as they used
I
to be.
know. Maybe we better move into another field.
You're richer than they are.
That's true. Well, maybe, as usual, I'll be taking care of them. That's the problem.
Is it really? People want to use you?
No. They don't use me. Not financially. 'Cause I keep my money hidden in various mattresses around town. Sew it up. Nobody knows about my money.
See, that's the problem. When you go to see these guys, leave your money at home. And
I will. Don't worry. The gold card will stay at home. I won't be traveling with American Express. I will leave home without it.
Sandra, you are just smashing in this movie, really.
Thank you.
I enjoyed you.
Good.
So much. And that entrance, my dear, that entrance is to die for.
Make a few Texas women stand up and take notice, right?
I think so. They probably want to know who your designer is.
Marilyn Vance did the costumes. She works with Joel Silver all the time. She's a really great lady.
Now, if they had presented a costume that you didn't like, would you have had the clout to say, I won't wear that?
Yeah, sure. Because she designed everything for me and, tried everything on and, fitted me. So I knew all along the way. Some of the stuff I didn't like, but I figured it really worked for the character, so I didn't fight it.
What didn't you like?
I don't want to be specific. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. There's just a few outfits I thought were a little tacky, but, it really worked for her.
Did it help?
Yeah, it
with
did.
The characterization?
Totally, absolutely.
Yeah. How'd you and Bruce get along?
We got along great.
I would think so.
He really wanted me for the role, so, the last time I went in to read for them, he was there, and he was very conversational and warm, and I was taken by surprise. He was really nice.
Were you nervous?
When I went in to read for them? A little bit, because I wanted the role. And you never know in this town, because a lot of people say, oh, you're going to get it, and then you don't get it, and it's kind of like, you have to kind of get yourself back up on your feet. It's disappointing. But no, it was, I wasn't freaked out, but I was a little nervous.
You've got now the other thing with Madonna's movie.
Yeah.
Scene in that.
Right.
Was that a real long scene and a real long take and they edited it down or what?
We just had a conversation. I think it was like an hour and a half. We were just hanging out and talking, and they filmed it. And I didn't really think about the consequences, truth or consequences. I didn't think about it. I just thought, oh, we're just two friends sitting around, shooting the ball, and, I knew they were going to probably use something, but I didn't know what they were going to use from it, so.
I found that one part where you ask her who she'd like to meet, and then she thinks about it, and she says, I think I've met everyone.
Right.
Did that answer surprise you?
No. Knowing her, no, it didn't surprise me at all. There's not a lot of people she wants to meet. She's not, I don't think she's really taken by most people in the business. I think she likes really unusual and, intellectual, kind of surprising people. She's not starstruck.
But to say that I've already met everybody is kind of sad. Or is she putting
this on? I
don't
think she really meant it literally, I think she's probably looking for like a wonderful person in her life, It may not. I think she meant in the public eye is what she was saying.
Who would you like to meet?
Who would I like to meet?
Besides a rich Texan.
I'm always open to meeting people. I'm really fascinated by people, and it doesn't have to be somebody. I've met a lot of great people in the business. I just like really creative, smart people in general. So there's nobody specific I'm looking forward to meeting.
In making this film, what was the hardest thing of all for you?
I think being away from home, as long as I was away, it was like almost 4 months in Rome and Budapest. And Rome in August and September, as you know, is the worst time to be there. It's incredibly hot. Nobody's there. The city's closed down. It's very lonely. And Budapest is just like an awful place because people are starving and trying to get their lives back together after, post-communist. I mean, I think in a way they were better off when it was communist, to be honest with you.
Really?
Well, yeah, because, at least they were supported by the government. They had jobs, they really pulled the rug out from under them. So it's not in great shape over there.
Chow is no good.
No.
Well, I'm glad you're back here.
Me too.
Where the chow is really good.
That's right.
Sandra,
Darn tootin'.
again, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your performance. It's just a hoot, and it's wonderful.
Thanks.
And
I'll see you in Texas.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. You're from Dallas?
Dallas, Fort Worth.
I'll be there, I'm sure, sometime in the next year performing.
Okay, can we talk again?
Absolutely.
Can we talk?
Yes,
Oh,
we
all right.
definitely can.
Okay.
I'll talk to you before I'll talk to her. I can assure you of that.
Sandra, you're great. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this very
Thanks,
much.
Bobby. Have a good stay.
Oh, good. Do I look stiff? Is my jacket humping up? Okay, we're speeding? What are we on?
You look sober to me, Danny.
Yeah, I always. My problem is that sobriety my entire life. No, that's not a problem. That's it's healthy. No drinking, no dope, none of that stuff, none of that garbage. Just high on life and making movies.
Well, see, that's kind of the way I am. I was born with an edge on, so I don't need
Right,
that
I'm
other
the same
stuff.
way. Absolutely, the same way.
You came in as we were getting ready to do the interview, singing your song, "Swinging on a Star."
It's a very catchy tune. You know,
Yeah.
recently, my mother had a dream always of me singing the motion picture, and I had that occur in Once Around, in which I happened to sing 3 songs. But in that particular film, you knew that I was going to have musical accompanist and so forth. So I was prepared for that. But in Hudson Hawk, when I saw the script, I realized the 2 songs had to be sung, Swinging on a Star and what is the other one? Side by Side. And my feeling was, all right, it's 2 friends cutting it up and just singing a song in the streets with no musical accompanist. So we did it. It came out fine. It was all right. But I go to the screening, and what happens? They add to it 28 instruments and voices behind us, and it turns out to be a spectacular musical number. I was flabbergasted. I had no perceived idea. I had no perception that that was what they wanted. All I felt was, as I said before, just a naked song, you know what I mean, with no musical accompanist. I'm so pleased with it. I love it, and it's catchy. I can't stop myself from singing it. And Once Around, I kept singing Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah. You walk out singing. I kept singing it. In this, I can't stop singing Swinging on the Star. I love it. It's like a Bob Hope, Bing Crosby road movie. I love it.
Exactly. Exactly. Is it true that you first knew Bruce when he was a bartender?
Yeah. It was about 11 years ago. I hung out in a place called the Cafe Centro in New York City, which is on Amsterdam Avenue. Bruce was a bartender and a beginning actor. And I was doing pretty good at the time, doing a lot of Broadway plays. So Bruce and I used to talk, and we always said that someday we get an opportunity, we work together. So he got a little more important, I got a little more important, and this script came into fruition based on an idea that he had with the musical director of this movie. His name is Robert Kraft. They exercised that idea, came into fruition, he had to be a script, and I noticed I got killed in page 25. I said, I don't want to do that, that's a midget role. By that I mean a short role. I mean a small role. So he said, no, I just want to give you an idea what the character was. But so they extended the role throughout, and I loved it. And the opportunity of working with a friend of mine, it was simply an extension of our life. We were friends out there, and we had the opportunity to have that friendship take place again on the screen. And the good thing about these characters are that they are our personalities. Bruce is exactly like Eddie Hawkins in life, and I am exactly like Tommy Messina in life. The difference being that same personality, same kind of disposition, but put into a very foreign situation to us, our thieves.
Was Bruce quite a clown behind the bar?
Yeah, well, you know, no one takes notice too much of, I don't want to minimize a bartender, but you're a bartender, you know, the guys only take notice of those who drink. I didn't drink, so I didn't take that kind of notice as to how clowny he was. I sat in a restaurant portion, but people tell me that, yeah, he was a cut-up guy. You know, John Goodman, for instance, who was a good friend of his, and they grew together, cut up quite a bit together. My socialization with him did not require my drinking because I don't drink. So I didn't get into situations with Bruce where I went to parties and so forth. I only knew him through conversations that we had away from the bar. And then as he began to progress as an actor, we became more friendly because we were in different situations, such as the Columbus Cafe in New York, where we would sit down and eat and talk. Then on occasions, late at night, we would leave Columbus and we go to this little restaurant on Broadway to have rice pudding, because he and I are great rice pudding eaters. We love rice pudding. Very fattening, but rice pudding is very good. It's really great.
You sold me.
Thank you.
You are coming to Texas, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be in Texas probably end of July in a very big motion picture, and I'm playing a historical character. And I'd love to tell you what it is, but I'm not at liberty to say at this point. And I hate to be that secretive, but,
no, but it's just nice
other people have required that of me, and I have to honor that, you know. But I'm anxious because I've never been to Dallas, Texas. I've never been to Texas, period. So I'm very anxious, and I cannot wait.
And this is July, August, huh?
Yeah, I'll be there. Well, probably about 2 weeks, because most of the interiors will be shot in an entire different state. But all exterior work will be done in Dallas, and some interior work, because the authenticity, the historical value, took place in Dallas, and I'm very excited about the movie.
Well, we'll be excited about it too.
I'm going to knock you out. You're going to love me in Dallas.
We love you already, Danny.
Well,
what do you mean?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I will hope to be able to talk with you.
Well, I hope so. I'm hoping that we'll get a chance.
Your son is in this movie as a stuntman, isn't he?
Well, every time you see me go to the edge of a roof and I'm just about to jump off, Michael Lehman, the director, yells, "Cut!" And I walk off, and my son Danny comes in and takes the jump. Every major stunt that I've done in this film where it seems that I'm risking my life, it's not me, it's my son Danny doing it. And let me say that I'm hesitant to permit him to do it, but he is 32 years old, and he has decisions to make in his life, and his decision is that he wanted to be a stuntman. I'm dead set against it. I hate the idea of it. I can't watch him do it. It terrifies me when he does it. And each time I say, "I don't want you to stunt double me," Danny said, "Dad, who's going to do it if not me? I look just like you, and I move like you. You'd have to be an idiot to choose somebody else. I'll make you look good in the screen." I said, "But Danny, it's very difficult for me." And it continues to be. And I always have that thought, God forbid should anything occur that he would be injured. I would consider myself solely to blame for it. So it's tough.
The scene where you're fighting and going down the steps?
Yes.
That's Danny 3?
Whenever you get close in, it's me, because obviously you can see it's me. But whenever it's a distant shot, it's him rolling down. He did that about 20 times.
Ooh.
He and the stuntman for Bruce. It's a very difficult thing because they were padded, but still, you get injuries. A kid constantly black and blue from head to toe. Mm-hmm. But you know, this is what they like. They're not daredevils. You know, they're very bright. They know what it is what they have to do. But the element of danger is always there. The things that you least expect happening sometimes do happen, no matter how well you prepare for it not to happen.
Well, Danny, as always, it's wonderful to see you. And I can just say ciao because
Could
I'll
I
be
say
seeing
this to you?
Please.
Oh, would you rather swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar? Just wanted to sing again.
Oh, thank you. Go on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danny.
It's my pleasure.
Take care.
Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Every man games home in a jar.
Critical reception was resoundingly negative, with a 24th of May 1991 HR review describing the picture as relentlessly annoying. Live-action Warner Brothers cartoon whose stupidity quotient far outweighs the comedy. A 1991 Wall Street Journal article noted that Hudson Hawk garnered $3 million in its second weekend of release, a catastrophe for distributor TriStar Pictures.
Let's go out the back way. Keep those IDs coming.
That's Bruce Willis as a whimsical master thief in Hudson Hawk, an overstuffed caper comedy in which unfortunately every character, I mean every character, including the villains, tries too hard to be funny. The result is a well-intentioned movie that tries to be different, but just wears us out. Willis plays Hudson Hawk, fresh out of prison, who along with partner Danny Aiello sings his way through a theft of a Leonardo da Vinci sculpture that contains part of an ancient machine that can transform base metals into gold.
And all the monkeys are in the zoo. Every day you see quite a few. So you see, it's all under you. You could be better than you are. You could be swinging on a star.
The song is cute as they try for a sort of Hope and Crosby effect, but then enter the rest of the nutty characters, including a couple of rich weirdos played by Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhard, who want to buy the stolen sculpture at auction. Andy McDowell plays a Vatican art expert.
$100 million and one.
Outbid by mine own wench, quelle belle mère.
Don't hate me, baby.
Also after the priceless machinery, a couple of mobsters chasing after Bruce Willis. Nothing, but nothing is simple in this film.
Subtlety is not one of our strong points.
And then there's the CIA, led by James Coburn. Everybody tries to top everyone else in this picture with gag lines. It's too much.
Don't I know you? The last time you saw me, I was bald with a beard and no mustache. And I had a different nose. So if you don't recognize me, I won't be offended.
My high school science teacher?
Hudson Hawk might have worked if only Willis and Danny Aiello, say, had been the silly ones and everyone they met was super straight. Also, the whole bit about the Da Vinci alchemy machine doesn't work. The machine looks cheap, like out of some 50s children's film. Hudson Hawk does have some funny lines from Bruce Willis, but this project was ill-conceived, I think, right at the script level.
It was. In fact, it's unbelievable that anyone could have read the script of this movie and thought that it could be produced as a successful film, because every single line starts from zero and gets to nowhere. It's one of these movies where there's no way for the audience to get involved because everything is arbitrary. The speech we just heard by James Coburn, I don't know what that was about. I don't know what it meant, and I don't know why it was supposed to be funny. I also didn't like the fact that throughout the movie, people would jump out of windows, and instead of being killed, they would land in chairs, sitting next to somebody who would start talking to them. People turn up coincidentally without any explanation on 2 different continents, to the point where you're just sitting there feeling whoever made this movie was completely addled. There was just absolutely no window for the audience to get in through to get into the story.
Well,
it's just, we're kept out of it.
You know enough about the history of movies to know what kind of a style they're going for. They're trying to do the Hope and Crosby routine. They're trying to do a little bit of Abbott and Costello, and they're trying to bring in all these kinds of things, and it's too much. It just doesn't work at all.
Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Games, home manager.
The soundtrack album was released by Varsay Sarabande in 1991. There are 11 tracks in all. The film score, represented by tracks 4 to 9, was composed and conducted by Michael Kamen with Robert Kraft. Kraft also wrote Hawk Swing and co-wrote the film's theme with star Bruce Willis.
Nickel in his pocket, time on both his hands. Little Eddie Hawkins, lost in Candyland. 10 years in the slammer, Eddie's done his time. On the street, ain't it sweet to pull the perfect crime? Everybody knows when the cold wind blows, the Hudson Hawk again. Let it rain, let it snow, let the north wind blow, the Hudson Hawk, my friend. Oh, little Eddie, you better watch out what you do. The Hudson Hawk's with you. 6 a.m. come Sunday, Eddie needs a friend. Tom is at the 5-tone, 49th and 10. Killers count his footsteps. Tom is dressed in black. A hustle here, a shuffle there. Eddie better watch your back. Everybody knows when the cold wind blows, the Hudson Hawk again. Let it rain, let it snow, let the north wind blow. It's the Hudson Hawk, my friend. Ooh, little Eddie, you better watch out what you do. The Hudson Hawk's with you. lights around. Someone's going down, and everybody better get their story straight. Look out! When a cold wind blows, if it rains, if it snows, it's the Hudson Hawk again. The Hudson Hawk's with you. The Hudson Hawk's with you. You better watch out.
Everybody knows when the cold wind blows. Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Every man games home and enjoy.
Catch the heat. Catch the stars. And watch rentals catch on fire. Hudson Hawk. To make sure Hudson Hawk catches on in a big way, we've created a theatrical size wall or window poster, plus a full range of in-store support, available free with purchases of 8 or more units. This dynamic merchandising kit includes a double-sided window display, 3 box flat wall displays featuring Bruce and Bruce with co-star Andie MacDowell, previously viewed sell-through stickers, colorful shelf talkers, and a merchandising flyer showing you how to put it all together. No doubt about it, this soaring action romp is guaranteed to fly off the shelves.
Couldn't agree more.
Hudson Hawk. Catch it soon from RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video.
The film was released on VHS and Laserdisc in late 1991. Upon its home video release, the tagline, "Catch the excitement, catch the adventure, catch the hawk," was changed to "Catch the adventure, catch the laughter, catch the hawk." Despite the film's failure at the US box office, the film was successful on home video.
Oh, look at the cute little monkey. Hey, where's the little guy? Why don't you bring little Eddie?
I didn't want you to prepare yourself for some bad news.
What? What's the matter?
Well, last night, little Eddie was assassinated.
What?
He was rubbed out.
Oh my God.
He took 2 shots to the back of the coconut.
Why?
You got any idea who killed my monkey?
Hawk, my hand to God. I didn't whack little Eddie. I had nothing against that kooky chimp. Actually, I found him kind of,
filthy.
endearing.
So some little banana here that drives.
Shut up.
So we go to this hotel room, and here's little Eddie laid up in bed with this little hooker, this little monkey hooker.
She had silk stockings.
And the black garter belt, right?
Little Eddie was going to stand.
I hate you. Say hello to little Eddie, motherfucker.
Okay. I have to know. Why is he called 5'10"?
There was a guy named Victor Pinzolo who lived in
Excuse me? Excuse me.
Yes.
It's my name?
Yes.
Then it's my story. You see, there was this guy in the neighborhood by the name of Victor Benzola.
But everybody called him Pinhead. He was like this big, loudmouth dude, real fat, bossed everybody around. Thought he was
if you don't mind, all right? So Victor made the mistake of hitting me up for some bullshit protection money.
That's not what happened. It was about that girl down at a bar that he was dating.
Eddie, it was about money. All right, so the guy holds out his hand for the do-re-mi, and I was still young enough to be stupid, you see?
That's not what happened.
Eddie.
Yes?
This is my name, my story, my name, okay?
Oh, you're doing great. Go ahead.
Now, why don't you tell him?
Okay. So, now Pinhead is really bugged about this whole down at the bar thing, right? So, he comes in the bar, and I see him and Tommy having very heated words. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Tommy hits him 5 times. Bam, 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 bam. 5 shots, right? And for every punch, a tone comes out of Victor's mouth, heretofore unheard by modern man.
That's true.
Sound like this. 5 tones, Tommy, 5 tones.
That's
I
my
gave
name.
him that name.
Okay, guys, on that note, I think it's time for bed.
I couldn't agree more.
You know right from left. I told you it was a right turn.
All right, all right. That's not what I'm worried about now.
Oh, what are you worried about now?
Worried about you, Slim Jim. You up for this climb?
Climb? What are you kidding? We're 15 minutes from the castle gate. We can drive there.
Oh. I knew that.
Yeah. You knew that, sure. You knew shit.
I knew.
You didn't know
How
shit.
about that
What are you
time we were coming home
Yeah,
from the
when?
thing we were doing, and you got lost for 3 hours coming home from the George Washington Bridge.
And I got in a fucking fight in the George Washington.
This ain't no joke, baby. But this is. Miss Hawkins, can Eddie come out and play baseball?
But don't you kids know? Eddie is paralyzed from the neck down.
Yeah, we want him to be third base.
Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Every morning, games, home, and a job.
A video game based on the film was released in 1991 under the title Hudson Hawk for various home computers and game consoles. It is a side-scrolling game where the player, as the Hawk, Thanks for watching, and good night.
On a star, let's take it home.
You could be swinging on a star.
With a world saved and the secrets of Da Vinci protected, Eddie finally got his coffee.